Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe arrives in New Delhi for a 3-day visit. 98,000 crore deal to build bullet train network among the agreements to be signed. No let-up in protest by opposition Congress in Rajya Sabha. Standoff over allegations of political vendetta with the government stalled proceedings in the House. The National Green Tribunal orders ban on registering diesel vehicles in Delhi, directs the centre and Delhi government not to buy new diesel vehicles for departments. The BSE Sensex plunges 288 points to drop below the 25,000 mark. US Federal Reserve almost certain to raise interest rates next week, though the central bank governor Raghuram Rajan says Indian markets won't be affected. And global climate talks extended by a day in Paris. Text of final compromise deal to combat global warming likely to be released on Saturday morning. The top story this evening, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe started his 3-day India visit today amid expectations that an agreement will be signed on India's first bullet train network. Abe held talks with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Tomorrow he will hold talks with Prime Minister Modi, after which both will make a short trip to Varanasi.
A warm welcome for the Japanese Prime Minister, who was received by Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha at the Palam airport. Shinzo Abe's first engagement was a brief meeting with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, who apprised him of the importance India attaches to its relationship with Japan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also welcomed Abe through Twitter, saying this visit will deepen India-Japan relations. Later, the Japanese Premier addressed the Japan-India Innovation Seminar, assuring maximum cooperation to bring about development in India.
Japan will continuously offer cooperation for the development of India, with the government and private sector working together. Japan and India share basic values, and that is why ensuring closer coordination between the two nations in every field will be critically important for Asia and the world in this century.
Abe and Modi will hold the 9th annual summit talks on Saturday. Both leaders are expected to review implementation of decisions taken over the last 1 year, particularly in trade and investment. A number of agreements are also expected to be signed, prominent among them being the 98,000 crore deal to build India's first bullet train network. After the summit-level talks, Abe will visit Modi's constituency, Varanasi, where he will see the Ganga Aarti. With Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Inputs, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to news from Parliament, where Friday also saw no let-up in the confrontationist attitude of the opposition Congress in the Rajya Sabha. The standoff between the government and the opposition stalled proceedings for almost the entire day.
For the 4th day in a row, the Congress continued its offensive against the government in the Rajya Sabha, levelling the same charge of political vendetta. Party members marched into the well of the House. The 0 hour was stalled. Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian appealed to members to allow the House to function. The Chair then adjourned the House first till 11:30 and then till noon.
I am adjourning the House up 12:00 hours.
Amid protests, the question hour was also disrupted. Minister of State for Agriculture responded to a query on checking the spiralling prices of pulses.
हम दालों का बफर स्टॉक तैयार करिए जो तक खरीद नहीं होती, और अभी 2 दिन पहले कैबिनेट ने निर्णय लिया है कि दालों की खरीद FCI, SFAC के थ्रू की जाएगी और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स के तहत और BSC दालों का इंपोर्ट बिकेगी, जिससे सस्ती दाल जनता को मुहैया कराई जा सके.
After repeated appeals to allow the question hour, the Chair adjourned the House till 2:30 p.m.
House is adjourned till 2:30.
Since Tuesday, the Congress is protesting against what it calls the government taking recourse to the politics of revenge against the entire opposition. The government, on the other hand, says the Congress is holding the parliament to ransom. even as it claims it's ready to discuss the contentious issues. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The situation in the Lok Sabha was more or less the same. The Congress members continued their protests against the remarks made by a BJP MP on Wednesday. They demanded an apology from the said MP, but when it was not met, members of the Congress, along with those of the TMC and other opposition parties, walked out of the House.
Lok Sabha MPs paid homage to the martyrs of the parliament attack as soon as the House met for the day. But soon after that, when questioned hour, Congress party raised the issue of BJP MP Virendra Singh's unparliamentary comments. During 0 hour, leader of the Congress in the House, Mallikarjun Kharge, said if Singh was unwilling to apologize, he must be suspended. TMC backed Congress on this demand.
हमारे नेताओं के खिलाफ अगर ऐसी बातें करते रहे, ऐसी गंदी बात करते रहे और अपने आप को बहुत श्रेष्ठ मानते हैं और जो कुछ वो कर रहे हैं वो बहुत अच्छा है ये कहते हैं, इसीलिए अगर आप उनको सस्पेंड कीजिए ना, वो अनकंडीशनल अपॉलॉजी पूछिए, नहीं है तो हमको कोई रास्ता नहीं ऐसे एटीट्यूड से, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट उनको सपोर्ट कर रही है.
Let one apology be made over here. Let the House run smoothly. It is your intention, madam. I believe it that the House should run. And Mr. Khargeji, since yesterday, since 3-4 days, the matter is being discussed. House is not allowing to be run properly. We have become part of it, no doubt. But why this man is getting support from the government?
BJP MP Virendra Singh, however, stood his ground and refused to apologize. MOS Parliamentary Affairs Rajiv Pratap Rodi said to the protesting members that since Singh's remarks had been expunged, carrying on with the protest was not right.
आज हमारे माननीय सदस्य के बारे में जो बात कहा गया, आपने निर्णय लिया है, जो कुछ उन्होंने कहा आपने बाहर निकाल दिया है, लेकिन ये एक बहाना बना के सदन की कार्रवाई बाधित करना ये अनुचित है मैडम.
When their demands were not met, members of the Congress, TMC, RJD and JDU walked out of the House. The remarks by Virendra Singh came during the discussion on the drought situation in the country on Wednesday. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Rajya Sabha today referred the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 to a select committee. The 23-member committee has been instructed to present the report by the last day of the first week of the next session.
The Rajya Sabha on Friday referred the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 to the Select Committee. Minister for Personal and Public Grievances Jitendra Singh moved the motion to refer the bill to the committee.
I move the following motion that the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013, further to amend the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, be referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha.
The bill provides for stronger punishment for bribery. It will now be examined by a 23-member committee headed by BJP MP Anil Madhav Dave. The motion was adopted by voice vote. The bill was introduced in the House on 1st December. It was moved for consideration on December 3rd when members raised objections to certain clauses. Opposition members sought more clarity, claiming that the provisions of the bill overlapped with the Lokpal Act.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the motion is adopted.
The Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 seeks to amend the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. It provides stringent punishment for both the bribe giver and taker. Among other new provisions to check the menace, it also increases the penalty to maximum of 7 years up from the 5 years at present. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
The Rajya Sabha paid homage to the martyrs on the 14th anniversary of the attack on Parliament. The entire House recalled the supreme sacrifice by the security personnel in foiling the terrorist attack.
Request members to rise in their places and observe silence as a mark of respect to the memory of those who lost their lives in that tragedy.
Memories of the Parliament attack in 2001 came alive as Rajya Sabha saluted the martyrs who were killed trying to save the symbol of Indian democracy. As soon as the House met for the day, Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari recalled the attack and paid tributes to the martyrs.
December 2015 marks the 14th anniversary of the dastardly attack on the Parliament House by terrorists. On this occasion, recall the supreme sacrifice of our security personnel. The House joins me in paying homage to these persons and in condemning this incident in unequivocal terms.
The House also condemned similar terrorist strikes and reiterated its resolve to fight terrorism with determination. The House stood in silence as mark of respect to the memory of those who lost their lives in the tragedy.
We also reiterate our firm resolve to fight terrorism with determination and rededicate ourselves to protect the sovereignty and integrity of our nation.
5 security personnel of Delhi Police, a woman constable of the Central Reserve Police Force and 2 security assistants of the Parliament Watch and Ward section died preventing the entry of terrorists into the Parliament House. A gardener and a photojournalist also lost their lives. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for us to take a short break. On the other side, RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan says that India is prepared for any kind of market volatility, this despite the impending US Federal Reserve rate hike.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, in a massive jump, October industrial production grew by 9.8% on an annual basis, riding on the back of a robust growth in consumer products and capital goods during the festive season. IIP growth for September was revised upwards to 3.84%, while it was a minus 2.7% in October 2014. The manufacturing sector grew 10.6% year-on-year in October. Electricity generation expanded 9%, and the mining sector was up by 4.7%. The growth in consumer durables segment was a whopping 42.2% in October over the same month last year. The consumer goods category saw a growth of 18.4%, while the consumer non-durables rose by 4.7%. Now, another big measure to tackle pollution has been announced by the National Green Tribunal. NGT has recommended that diesel-run vehicles should not be registered in Delhi at all. The tribunal has also recommended that central and state governments in Delhi not buy any diesel vehicles. The NGT's recommendation comes close on the heels of the Supreme Court agreeing to hear a petition seeking a complete ban on diesel cars in Delhi. The case will come up for hearing on the 15th of December. Earlier in April, NGT had banned diesel vehicles over 10 years old in Delhi, an important step to fight the rising pollution levels in the world's most polluted city. The tribunal has also raised questions about the Delhi government's odd even formula for cars, saying it might not have the desired effect.
किसी भी पक्ष से और किसी का कोई भी ऑब्जर्वेशन और कोई ओपिनियन आती है तो वो स्वागत योग्य है, क्योंकि उन सारे चीजों से ही एक अल्टरनेट बिल्ड होता है और उस तरफ हम लोग बढ़ेंगे धीरे धीरे और बढ़ भी रहे हैं. दिल्ली के जो और केंद्र सरकार की गाड़ियों को, सरकारी गाड़ियों को लेकर के उस पर हम विचार करेंगे.
Now, RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan on Friday said that there was a 70 to 75% possibility that the US Federal Reserve will raise interest rates in its monetary policy review later this month. Rajan said that the markets had already factored in the rate hike. However, the central bank, he said, is prepared to take care of any volatility. He also expected some changes in financial flows. He further said that the best defense against global volatility was the domestic macro stability.
Like other emerging markets, indeed even the developed countries, one can expect that there will be some changes in financial flows taking place in the world. But given that this first change is fully baked in, one doesn't expect from this direct policy interest rate change much of an effect that is already not factored in by the market.
On to news from the stock market itself, a choppy session today. The benchmark BSE Sensex plunged to 288 points to end below the 25,000 mark after 3 months. The NSE Nifty also slipped below the 7,600 mark. The 30-share index sank 288 points to 24,963 points, with several sectoral indices led by realty, banking and capital goods trading in negative terrain with losses of up to 2.44%. On similar lines, the NSE Nifty slipped below the 7,600 mark, losing 96.55 points or 1.25% to end at 7,587. Investor sentiment was also dampened by offloading by cautious participants ahead of key economic data. Let's now look at some more news and updates from around the country nationwide. Former RJD MP Mohammad Shahabuddin and 3 others were today sentenced to life imprisonment for the brutal murder of 2 brothers 11 years ago. The 2 men were killed with acid poured on them. Shahabuddin represented the Siwan constituency in Bihar for 4 terms. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi is on a 2-day visit to Assam. He will kick off the party's campaign for the assembly elections with a communal harmony walk in the Barpeta district tomorrow. He will also interact with prominent academicians and entrepreneurs to have a first-hand reading on what the Congress needs to do. 3 convicts in the Park Street gang rape case were sentenced to 10 years imprisonment by Kolkata court today. 3 were also fined 1 lakh rupees each. 2 other accused are still absconding. The victim was picked up in a car in front of a nightclub in 2012 and gang raped before she was thrown off on a road nearby. The Supreme Court today sought a response from Nestle India on an appeal by the FSSAI against lifting the ban on popular instant Maggi noodles. The FSSAI had questioned the sanctity of samples provided to the government-approved laboratories for the retest. It said the court had asked Nestle to provide samples which should have been picked up randomly from the market. The Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari arrived in Ashgabat, the capital of Turkmenistan, a short while ago. The Vice President is on a 3-day visit to the hydrocarbon-rich Central Asian nation. The Vice President is scheduled to address an international conference on peace, security and development on Saturday. The conference is expected to be attended by around 20 heads of state and governments to mark the 20th anniversary of the permanent neutrality of Turkmenistan. On Sunday, the Vice President will participate in the groundbreaking ceremony of an ambitious 4-nation gas pipeline that will start from the country and crisscross Afghanistan and Pakistan to reach India. Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan is travelling with the Vice President. Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and Turkmenistan's President will also be present at the ceremony. And news is coming in from Afghanistan. The Spanish embassy in Kabul under attack. The details, though, are extremely sketchy at this time. According to reports, a suicide bomber and gunmen attacked the Spanish embassy compound in the Afghan capital as gunshots were heard following a loud blast. The blast shook buildings across the diplomatic district. The Afghan Interior Ministry has confirmed a terror attack was underway but declined to give further details. For more details, in fact, let's go across to Syed Anwar, senior BBC correspondent in Kabul. Syed, what can you tell us about the status of this attack and as far as the loss of life or any injuries are concerned?
The attack occurred around 1 hour ago, but still there is no information about the casualties. Some journalists in the area says that the firing going on, they can hear firing. Taliban claimed responsibility of this attack, and Taliban apparently says that their militants attacked a foreign guest house. Some reports suggesting that the attack area is very close to the Spanish embassy, yet the Afghan officials didn't confirm if the attack happened on the Spanish embassy, but it is somehow close because the area is very posh area and some embassies, some NGOs and guest houses are located in this area.
Right. Saeed, if you could also tell us, as far as the area, you were mentioning that it is, of course, the diplomatic district over there. So I assume that security must have been quite high, and this area must have always been on the radar as far as the terrorists are concerned. So in terms of the blast also, the kind of area that we're talking about, how big is that? And as far as the security measures that were in place already over there?
Yeah, you are right. The security is very tight, and a few days ago, the U.S. Embassy in Kabul issued a warning that there is a threat of possible attack in Kabul, and in this warning, it was says U.S. citizens and some others should limit their movements. After that warning, the security was very tight in the capital Kabul, but in the past years, many times security was very tight, but such incidents happen in Kabul and in some other areas.
All right, Saeed, we'll leave it over there, but thank you very much for that update. We'll, of course, come back to you for regular updates as far as this breaking story is concerned. Moving on now, the Paris Climate Summit ran into overtime today with a global climate deal now expected on Saturday. Conference Chairman Laurent Fabius, however, felt that the negotiations are moving in the right direction, despite a few gaps that still had to be bridged. Earlier on Thursday, Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar held a second meeting with US Secretary of State John Kerry to discuss sticking points.
We are much closer.
As expected, the climate negotiators missed their Friday deadline in Paris. The clock is now ticking for the final agreement by Saturday.
À la fin de cette nuit, nous aurons l'ébauche du texte final. Et je pense, j'espère, être en mesure de proposer, comme je m'y étais engagé, demain, le texte ambitieux qui permettra un accord universel et contraignant sur le climat.
With disagreement on key issues, the final draft still needs improvement. But the square brackets indicating significant disagreement are now reduced to just 50, down from over 900 in the earlier draft. Fabius sounded positive as he proposed a new round of late-night negotiations.
Ce projet est donc plus court que le précédent, c'est une bonne chose, et il tranche sur plusieurs options, mais il laisse encore entre crochets quelques points spécifiques qui, sans mystère d'ailleurs, sont les plus complexes.
I am told, encouragingly by many people, that this is a doable and achievable, and I have not heard from anybody that who says it differently, and I am very much optimistic.
The three complex unresolved issues are differentiation between developed and developing nations, financial arrangements for the developing world, and the ambition for a global temperature target. Earlier on Thursday, Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar held his second meeting with US Secretary of State John Kerry. In a telephonic conversation, both Chinese President Xi Jinping and US President Barack Obama pledged that both countries will cooperate on climate change. Obama also spoke to the French President François Hollande to review the progress. The fresh draft has an agreement on the once formidable divide on how ambitious the deal should be to control the rise in Earth's surface temperature. World leaders have agreed that they will set the goal to restrain the temperature increase to less than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for all the other international news now in Global Buzz. 2 people suffered gunshot wounds at an attack on a Hindu temple in Bangladesh. 3 attackers also detonated homemade bombs, injuring 7 people. They continued to shoot at people fleeing the building. Police suspect a militant group, Jamaat-ul Mujahideen's hand in the attack. Senior officials from North and South Korea met for talks today to discuss improving ties and resuming cooperation projects. These talks take place amid tensions that have remained high for nearly 6 years. The meeting was the first forum for high-level discussions after an agreement in August. The first Canadian government plane load of Syrian refugees landed in Toronto yesterday. The plane was carrying 163 refugees and will be followed by a second military aircraft to Montreal on Saturday. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said 10,000 will be resettled by the end of the year and further 15,000 by February. The Islamic State's finance chief Abu Saleh was confirmed dead by the US. He was killed in late November in an airstrike. US military spokesperson called him one of the most senior and experienced members of the group's network. Pakistan conducted the test of a nuclear-capable surface-to-surface ballistic missile. The Shaheen-3 is capable of a maximum range of 2,750 kilometers. A military media statement disclosed that its impact was in the Arabian Sea and that the test validated all desired parameters. Some sports now, and the International Cricket Council today announced the schedule for the next year's T20 Cricket World Cup to be played in India. The 6th edition of the tournament will kick off on the 11th of March. The finals will be played on the 3rd of April at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata. The Indian cricket team will open the campaign against New Zealand in Nagpur on the 15th of March, followed by a marquee clash against Pakistan on the 19th of March in Dharamshala. Host India are pooled with Pakistan, Australia and New Zealand in Group A. Defending champions Sri Lanka are alongside South Africa, West Indies, England and the Group B winner. The 27-day-long tournament will be played across 8 venues that include Bangalore, Chennai, Dharamshala, Kolkata, Mohali, Mumbai, Nagpur and New Delhi. Time now for some more sports action in SportsBeat. India's campaign at the World Super Series finals came to an end after ace Indian shuttlers suffered defeat in their final group matches. Saina Nehwal lost her match 21-16, 16-21, 14-21 to Chinese Taipei's Tai Ying. In the men's event, Srikanth lost 17-21, 13-21 to Chinese Taipei's Chao Tianchen in his final Group B match in the round-robin stage. UEFA President Michel Platini failed to have his 90-day provisional ban from football lifted. Platini's request was denied by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which means the Frenchman will not be allowed to attend to the Euro 2016's final draw in Paris on Saturday. Unknown assailants shot dead Honduran international footballer Arnold Peralta in the national capital on Thursday. He was killed in the car parking at the port city of La Ceiba. Peralta represented Honduras in the 2016 Olympic Games in London. He later joined Scottish Giants Rangers in 2013 and helped them win the 2013-14 Scottish League One title. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.